The latest. Thank you for your love and support. I appreciate you all. Tension heats up between Ghana and Israel over deportation of 3 Ghanaian nationals. And according to reports, these people were mistreated in Israel, and upon all that, they decided to deport them. Actually, according to reports, there were 7. 4 were a delegation sent to Israel for a conference, and all of these people were treated badly in Israel. According to a press statement released on December 10, 2025 by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, the decision came after 3 Ghanaian nationals were reportedly deported from Israel under unacceptable circumstances. As a result, Accra moved swiftly to expel 3 Israelis who had recently arrived in Ghana. In announcing the decision, the Foreign Affairs Minister, who shared the statement on his Facebook page, opened it with, "The government of Ghana has been compelled to activate appropriate reciprocal action by deporting 3 Israelis who arrived in Ghana earlier today following ill treatment and unwarranted deportation of 3 Ghanaians." Why is it that it's so difficult for the African to travel freely across the world? Yet when these people come into the continent, they move freely without any restrictions, without any mistreatment. It is only the African that can't even move among ourselves and even outside of the continent, simply because of our skin type. The kind of treatment we receive as black people when we are traveling outside of the continent is so painful, and even within the continent, because when you are moving to your brother's place, it becomes a tug of war, the treatment that we receive. Yet when we even see these people who are outside of our skin type, the kind of respect, we don't even check their documents, we just allow them and keep the Africans waiting to scrutinize them. Yet the Africans, when we move outside of our continent, we don't get that. Even government delegations sent to Israel for a conference were treated anyhow, simply because of their dark skin.
Ghana has deported 3 Israelis in a reciprocal move after accusing authorities in Tel Aviv of subjecting Ghanaian travelers to ill treatment and carrying out the unjustified deportation of 3 of its nationals. In a statement on Wednesday, December 10th, Ghana's foreign ministry said the government has been compelled to retaliate and that Ghana will continue to safeguard the dignity of its nationals and also that of other nationals. The West African country also summoned the acting head of Israel's embassy in Accra as the ambassador was out of Ghana. Earlier, Accra condemned the inhumane treatment of its citizens at Israel's Ben Gurion airport after several travelers were either detained or deported, saying Ghanaian travelers were deliberately targeted. It said 7 Ghanaian citizens, including 4 members of a parliamentary delegation, were detained without justifiable cause and released only after hours of diplomatic intervention, while 3 others were deported. The Ghanaian authorities said the parliamentary delegation was attending an international cybersecurity conference in Tel Aviv, while the 3 deported travelers returned to Ghana on the next available flight. Ghana's foreign ministry condemned the Israeli action as extremely provocative and unacceptable. The Israeli government had claimed that Ghana's embassy failed to cooperate in the deportation of Ghanaians, but Ghana described this claim as totally untenable, saying the mission in Tel Aviv had been responsive and compliant with international law. Ghana and Israel established diplomatic relations after Ghana's independence in 1957. Following the 1973 Arab-Israeli War, Ghana, along with other African countries, severed ties with Tel Aviv. However, relations between the 2 countries were restored in 1994.
We need to put an end to all these things, and it will start from us. If we start treating their people the way they treat us, things will stop. They will change the way they treat the African. And until we do that, we'll continue to suffer. Africans, we are not inferior to other people. And that is one thing we need to know as Africans. We are equally the same as these people. So we don't have to allow them to continue to treat us the way they do to us. And that is why we see that Mali, Niger, and Burkina Faso came into office, and they are making sure that they change the narrative. Look at the treatment they give to even our leaders, our heads of states, the way they talk to them. The recent event was during the G20 summit in South Africa, and a lady from the White House just spoke to Cyril Ramaphosa anyhow, saying that he was running his mouth. And these our leaders keep watching all these things. Why must we be treated anyhow? Simple because of our skin type. Do the skin type makes us less human to these people? The people that depends on the African for their survival? That is why we are fighting for the African to regain his power. But these are leaders, those in the democratic elected, are bent on making sure that we continue to be puppets. And that is the reason to which they rise to fight against any leader that is making sure that the African dignity is respected. We cannot sit during our African Union summits, ECOWAS, SADC, and whatever to be claiming that we want respect when we don't act. We know what these people do to us, yet we don't do that to them. Why should they have the free access to the continent as if it is their backyard? But we, the Africans, can't even move freely in our own continent. And it's because of the restrictions that these, our so-called democratic elected leaders, are enforcing in the absence of the colonizer. For how long must we continue to be rejected, to be mistreated by any other person as if we are less humans? We must start acting. Prove to these people that we Africans, we are equally human beings. And we can't do that by begging them to respect us. We need to treat them the way they treat us. Enough of all these things that we are receiving. This is 21st century, and we still have our leaders sitting down, and all they do is to give us speech. All they do is to present themselves begging. Yet these are the people that are begging us all the time. And we have our youth happy and finding every reason to defend the oppressor. They are the ones that are treating us anyhow, even in our continent. When they come here, the way they treat us is different. And they still go back home and treat us the same way. And we are not allowed to do anything to them. Whenever we need our leaders to act, they are thinking about diplomatic whatever. Like one time, one Namibia politician said, even when it comes to selling of our resources, we still sit down and allow other people to determine the price. And when others rise to say no, you see them saying, we don't want to have problem with China, we don't want to have problem with the United States of America. But these people don't care. Whenever they want to treat the African, they always place their interests first. And that is one thing our leaders need to start doing. We have had enough of this mistreatment. We are humans, just like other people. If you are treated respectfully because you are politicians, doesn't mean that you should fold your arms and watch other people mistreat your own citizens. African Union will not fight for these kind of things, but rather chasing after the size of a map. Things that are not important, misplaced of priority. We are the only ones that can set ourselves free. United we stand, divided we fall. And united we keep standing forever and ever. The greatest enemy of the African is mental slavery. So let's decolonize ourselves from mental slavery. Let's keep sharing to educate our brothers and sisters. Together we make African great for ourselves and the next generations that are going to come. So that's the latest around the world, in Africa, West Africa, and in Ghana.